Clothing in filmmaking can be used to flesh out a character on a deeper, more personal level. It shows us who they are, where they come from, what's their personality like. It can be a very powerful tool in the art of storytelling, and it can completely go over the viewer's head. Sometime a couple years ago, I stumbled upon an article in The Telegraph called How I Undressed Mr. Darcy, where Jacqueline Duran says this. His costume had a series of stages. The first time we see him, he's at Meryton, where he has a very stiffy tailored jacket on, and he's quite contained and rigid. He stays in that rigid form for the first part of the film. By the time we get to the proposal that goes wrong in the rain, we move to a similar cut, but a much softer fabric. And then later, he's got a completely different cut of coat, not interlined, and he wears it undone. The nth degree is him walking through the mist in the morning, completely undressed by 18th century standards. If you don't know who Jacqueline Duran is, she's an Oscar-winning costume designer who has worked on Pride and Prejudice, as well as Atonement, Anna Karenina, Little Women, and The Batman. At the time I read that quote, it took me completely by surprise since I've seen the movie countless times and never noticed the changes. But what confounded me more is how I've never seen anyone talk about it. And it might be just me, but it's cool, right? This topic has been sitting in the back of my brain for maybe 2 years now, and it will kill me if I don't do anything about it, so... When we first see Mr. Darcy, he's dragged along to this party he visibly doesn't want to be at. His clothes at the time reflect how highly he thinks of himself and how closed off he is to other people, with the exception of Mr. Bingley and his sister. His cravat is tight around his neck, collar standing upright, and jacket buttoned all the way up. Contrasting that with Mr. Bingley's outfit next to him already gives an idea of the type of person we can expect, even though he hasn't said anything yet. And when he does...
But her sister Elizabeth is very agreeable.
Perfectly tolerable, I dare say. Not handsome enough to tempt me. You'd better return to your partner and enjoy her smiles. You're wasting your time with me.
Darcy is dressed the same throughout the first hour of the movie, during which he meets Elizabeth. She stays in his house for a few days. She challenges him.
And of course, you must improve her mind by extensive reading.
I'm no longer surprised at your knowing only 6 accomplished women. I rather want to know at your knowing any.
Are you so severe on your own sex?
I never saw such a woman.
When she leaves, he helps her to the carriage. He gets jealous of Mr. Wickham. He asks her to dance. She challenges him some more.
You talk as a rule while dancing?
No. No, I prefer to be unsociable and taciturn. Makes it all so much more enjoyable, don't you think?
And after all that, he's just about ready to... When we see him next at Lady Deborah's, there's already a slight change in his clothes. His cravat is tied just a little bit looser, and his jacket is the exact same style, but made out of a softer fabric, something resembling corduroy. He talks more freely with Elizabeth. He willingly seeks her out and engages in conversation first.
I do not have the talent of conversing easily with people I have never met before.
Perhaps you should take your aunt's advice and practice.
This is also when he tries to propose to her for the first time, and the second time. The scene of his proposal in the rain is a pivotal moment for the plot and his character arc. He's fully opened up to Elizabeth, finally admitting to himself that he's in love with her. But here's the tip. Don't try proposing to someone right after you insulted their entire family. It might not work out the way you planned.
From the first moment I met you, your arrogance and conceit, your selfish disdain for the feelings of others made me realize that you were the last man in the world I could ever be prevailed upon to marry.
We've reached the point of the movie where Darcy is pretty much set in his feelings for Elizabeth, and along with that we get a couple outfit changes in a quick succession. When he arrives to give her a letter about his history with Mr. Wickham, he's basically wearing his pajamas, reflecting the revealing nature of the letter and how exposed he's willing to be with Elizabeth. Then we catch him off guard in his home, where he has graduated to another, even lighter and unbuttoned jacket, and his cravat isn't trying to strangle him anymore. He switched to a patterned vest, possibly taking after Mr. Bingley, who's been wearing them the entire time. This also marks the first time that we see him genuinely smile and laugh, which is always jarring to me for some reason. When Darcy tags along as emotional support for Bingley's proposal, not much has changed. Him and Bingley are wearing almost the exact same vest and similar cravats, which calls back to the beginning of the movie when they look like polar opposites. And what happens after this? Oh yeah! For his third and final proposal, Darcy is, as Jacqueline Durant put it, completely undressed by 18th century standards. This is the same outfit he wore to give Elizabeth the Wickham letter, both being his most vulnerable moments of the movie. For his 5 a.m. walk through the fields, Darcy opted for something resembling sleepwear, so I guess it's fortunate that Lizzie is in her nightgown too.